The telegram arrived on a Thursday morning in October of 1948. Eleanor first saw the boy through the rain-flecked kitchen window. He stood at the gate in a dark cap and slick coat, clutching the yellow envelope like it was something dead. For a moment, she simply stared. Telegram boys only brought bad news. Her husband, Martin, looked up from the breakfast table. "Who is it?" She didn't answer immediately. The boy knocked once. Sharp, mechanical. Eleanor wiped her hands on her skirt and crossed the house slowly, heart beginning to flutter against her ribs. When she opened the door, the boy would not meet her eyes. "Telegram for Mrs. Eleanor Vale." His voice sounded memorized. She signed for it. The paper felt strangely damp. "Thank you," she murmured. The boy nodded and walked back into the rain without another word. Eleanor locked the door behind him. Martin folded his newspaper. "Well?" She stared at the envelope. "No sender." "Open it." The flap tore unevenly beneath her fingers. Inside was a single slip of paper. "Arriving home November 3rd stop. Please prepare the house stop. Thomas." Martin frowned. "Thomas." Eleanor sat down very slowly. Thomas, her brother, dead for 15 years. The room seemed to contract around her. Martin gave a small laugh. Somebody's idea of a joke. But Eleanor could barely hear him. She kept staring at the words. The message was typed in all capitals, the way telegrams were, but she knew Thomas's cadence instantly. Even stripped of handwriting, something about it sounded unmistakably like him. "Please prepare the house." That was the sort of thing Thomas used to say when returning from university holidays. Formal for the sake of being amusing. Martin reached for the telegram. "Let me see." She pulled it back instinctively. His expression shifted slightly. "Ellie, he drowned," she whispered. Rain rattled the windows harder. Neither of them spoke for a while after that. Thomas had died in 1933 at Blackwater Lake, 2 weeks before Eleanor's wedding. They never recovered the body. Her father insisted the currents had carried him deep beneath the reeds. Her mother spent the next decade setting an extra plate at Christmas anyway. Then one winter morning she simply stopped speaking altogether. Martin cleared his throat. "Someone from your hometown, maybe. Somebody who knew." No one jokes about Thomas." Martin stood and took his coat from the chair. "I'll speak to the telegraph office after work." Eleanor nodded faintly, but after he left, she found herself unfolding the telegram again and again. By noon she noticed something strange. The paper smelled faintly of lake water. Not rainwater. Lake water had a different smell. Stagnant. Mossy. She told herself she was imagining it. Still, she placed the telegram in the kitchen drawer instead of throwing it away. That night she dreamed of Thomas. Not unusual in itself. But in the dream, he stood outside the house dripping wet, one hand resting gently on the front door. Not knocking, just waiting to be invited in. When Eleanor woke, her nightgown clung damply to her back. The next morning, another telegram arrived. This time she did not wait for the knock. She was already opening the door when the boy reached the porch. Same cap, same expressionless face. Had it been the same boy yesterday? She couldn't tell. "Telegram for Mrs. Eleanor Vale." His hand trembled slightly as he passed it over. "Who sent this?" she asked. "I don't know, ma'am." "Where did it come from?" The boy hesitated. Then quietly, "Blackwater Station." Eleanor felt cold spread through her limbs. Blackwater Station had closed in 1935. By the time she looked up again, the boy was already halfway down the street. Inside the envelope, "Cold here stop. House must be ready stop. Thomas." Martin came home furious. "The station master says no telegrams were sent to this address yesterday or today." Eleanor said nothing. "He thinks someone's putting them directly into the system somehow. A prank." She handed him the second telegram. Martin read it twice, then carefully set it down. "You don't believe this is Thomas?" It wasn't a question. Eleanor stared at the darkening kitchen window. "I don't know what I believe." Martin exhaled sharply. "Ellie, your brother is dead. At that exact moment, someone knocked at the front door. 3 slow knocks. Both of them froze. Martin crossed the hall immediately and yanked the door open. Nobody stood outside, only rain, but on the welcome mat lay another yellow envelope. Martin picked it up with visible reluctance. Jesus Christ. He handed it to her. The paper was soaked through. Inside, "Why haven't you prepared the house stop?" That night, Eleanor could not sleep. The house creaked constantly around her. At 2:30 in the morning, she heard footsteps downstairs. Wet footsteps. Slow. Deliberate. Martin remained asleep beside her. Eleanor sat upright, listening. Step, 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 moving through the first floor, then stopping directly beneath the bedroom. A soft drip followed. Water. Without fully deciding to, Eleanor rose from bed and stepped into the hallway. The house was dark except for pale moonlight stretching across the staircase. Everything below was silent, yet she knew with complete certainty that someone stood downstairs, waiting. "Thomas?" she whispered before she could stop herself. The response came immediately, not from downstairs, from behind her bedroom door. A wet voice. "Ellie." She stumbled backward. Martin woke instantly at her scream. By the time he threw open the bedroom door, the hallway was empty, but the carpet outside the room was soaked with muddy footprints. Bare human footprints, leading to the stairs, then disappearing. Martin insisted they leave the house the next day. Eleanor agreed, but before they could finish packing, the final telegram arrived. No messenger this time. It simply slid through the mail slot and landed softly on the floor. Martin picked it up first. Eleanor watched the blood drain slowly from his face as he read. "What does it say?" He didn't answer. "Martin." Silently, he handed her the paper. "Thank you for preparing the house stop. Arrived last night stop." Beneath the message, in tiny uneven letters not made by any typewriter, was one final sentence written in dark brown ink. "She let me in." Behind them, from somewhere deep inside the house, came the sound of dripping water, and a man quietly humming to himself.